Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we talk about all things financial literacy. And today we're going to be talking about a credit card master guide hard pull. So I put together some information that I found on My FICO. The information was collected from tons of people, users, clients, members who have done hard pulls from over 100 banks and credit unions. So I've compiled it into an ebook that's going to be free on www.successwithstevensmith.com. And I just want to go over all of the information here. So if you've been curious to know where you're going to get a hard pull and your state that you may get the hard pull from, as well as which exact scoring model it's going to pull, this is going to be a collection of a lot of that information. And there's some things that I want to make sure that we talk about before you use this guide. So please don't just jump to download the guide first, because a lot of your questions will probably be answered in this video. Please, if you can, watch the whole thing through, or at least a majority of it, just to get an understanding of how this is supposed to be used, because it's not going to have exactly everything. And I want to give a warning that all the information, it is subject to change. This is more like it's more like a heads up of what you can expect. But I always recommend you freezing, at least two of the bureaus if it's only supposed to pull one. And there are some that do double pull, some do three. Again, that's the reason why I want you to kind of pay attention and get this information first before you download the guide. So let's get started. Now, this is how you're going to be reading this. There's going to be two grids. Grid 1 is going to be on the side here. There's also grid 2 that's going to be in like a greenish color. There's going to be a green check mark. I'm going to point this out again once we get to it. Some banks are very consistent with the credit reporting agencies and versions that they pull. Those are the ones that religiously are consistent pullers. That's going to be a green check mark next to it. Again, you're not going to see that on this grid that we're looking at right here. It's going to be on the second grid. But I wanted to make sure that I had a page that just gave all this information. There's going to be a yellow exclamation point. Some banks will bounce between two credit reporting agencies, but which one they pull, it's unpredictable. It just varies based on where you live, along with other specific cards. And it just means that you can prepare to either get a pull from one bureau or the other. So that's going to have a yellow exclamation point next to it. Now, if you see a green check mark plus a yellow exclamation point, it means that a large part of the time they're going to lean towards the green check mark. So let's say that there's a green check mark next to Experian. That means a majority of the time they are going to be pulling Experian. But at times they will fall to a secondary report. And this can be because your report is locked. It could be because of bank errors when trying to actually pour their primary option. And it can be like a split credit profile, your residency, etc. So just, be aware that if on your credit report you had an old address in California, now you moved to New York, that can be the reason why you may get this. So if it's a green check mark and a yellow exclamation point, it means that the green one is the primary and then the yellow one is the secondary. It can happen for various reasons. All right, now let's take a look at grade number 1. Grade number 1, which is reports pulled based on your state. And this is all reporting from My FICO users. So as you can see, it's all in alphabetical order. We're going to start with A, and at the very top is Affinity Federal Credit Union. And then you're going to see that they pull from Experian, and then it's going to show you the state that it pulls from. You're going to notice all of these don't have all the states. Some of these are regional credit unions, regional banks, so your state won't be there. It just happens. And then some we weren't able to get, all the states because, again, I haven't pulled all of these myself. This is information from My FICO users. So let's look at one for example. Like, for example, here's Barclays. As you can see, they have Georgia, they have Texas, they have Pennsylvania. You're looking at Experian. None from Equifax, but then for TransUnion, we also have Texas, New Mexico, New York, New Jersey, Florida, Georgia, California. So the way that you would read this if you're looking at Barclay is that for these states that we have, like for Texas, it can be Experian and it can be TransUnion. It's a split. That's why they're both there. I live in Nevada. As you can see, we don't know which one that pulls from Nevada. I haven't applied for a Barclays card, and because there wasn't enough information to have anything that is conclusive, it's not added onto here. So in that case, you might want to go to the credit pool board website, check that out just to confirm. But a majority of the information will be here for a lot of different states. Now, for example, BMO Harris Experian is showing that they pull from, with California, they pull from primarily Experian, TransUnion from Florida. Like, it's going to give you a good indication on where it pulls from. Now, for me personally, I live in Nevada. I got a TransUnion pull when it came to BMO Harris. So again, there wasn't enough information for it to be conclusive. So if you're looking for your state and you don't see it there, that's the reason why, which is kind of why I wanted you guys to, go ahead and just listen to this video first. So because there's, it's not going to be a full in-depth guide of all the information. Again, you want to take it with a grain of salt, but the states that you do see, primarily, this is what's going to happen. So let's just take a look at the next page. It's going to continue starting with Celtic Bank, and then it's going to work its way all the way down to the F's, FNBO. There's Discover. Some of these that have pre-qualifications like Discover added it right there. And you can go through and you can take a look at, which bank that you're looking at or which credit union, like they have NASA Credit Union here. And I'm going to continue to add on to this as time goes on. I'm just going to try to make sure that I keep a record of everything that I can find that has an overwhelming amount of data that can actually, prove that it will pull most likely from that particular place. So I think that you kind of have an idea of what you're looking for when you're taking a look at this. And like I said, once again, it is in alphabetical order. It will not have every state. I will update this as time goes on. Now, here is the second grid that I was talking about. Now, everything is in green here. Once again, it's in alphabetical order, but here's the way that you should look at this. It's going to show you like your Equifax, your Experian, your TransUnion. It's going to show you which credit FICO model it pulls. So here's your FICO 8 for Experian, for Equifax, for TransUnion. It also has your FICO 9 for all those bureaus. And like, for example, if you look at American Express, which reports do they primarily pull? So if you found your state and then you wanted to also know, okay, well, it pulls from, in Nevada, it pulls from Experian, which is the model that they normally pull? It's going to be your FICO 8 model. Sometimes, like, for example, with someone like Navy Federal, you're going to notice that they pull your TransUnion, but they'll be pulling your TransUnion FICO 9. So you want to know exactly which model that you're going to be looking at. For another one, to give you an example of the yellow exclamation point, check out Bank of America. So Bank of America, they can pull your Experian FICO 8, your Equifax FICO 8, your TransUnion FICO 8. They can pull your Experian FICO 9. So it could really vary. There really wasn't enough information to have anything that's definitive. So again, if you need to go back and refer to the top to get an explanation again of what the yellow exclamation points and the green checks mean, then I highly recommend that you do that. Now, here's some more information for you to keep in mind. So again, this guide, it provides collected information on credit reports that will likely get pulled when you apply for a credit card, but there are many other factors to consider during the application process. And it's going to include these items. So a bank's sensitivity to recent inquiries or newly opened accounts like US Bank, Wells Fargo, Chase. Those are things that can potentially get you denied. Your income, and for some banks and credit unions, your total open debt. A bank's level of forgiveness for prior behavior like delinquencies and charge-offs, bankruptcies and repos. We know that more times than not, credit unions are okay with building a relationship, and they're not as hesitant to give you credit lines when you have things like bankruptcies, when you have things like charge-offs and collections. Some banks, they don't like that. You need to get them completely removed. Your credit report age. Some banks don't like to be the first person to give you a big limit, and that just means that your credit profile is thin or you have very low limits on your credit card. So if you have, a $2,000 limit, some banks will only provide you with a $2,000 limit. So as you raise it, they may also give you credit line increases. And of course, the state that you live in. Most banks have contracts with specific credit reporting agencies, and it covers a multi-state area. That's the reason why there's different states with different pools. They have some contractual agreement with those particular banks to cover those regions, and they pull from there. Like most of us notice, Equifax doesn't really seem to have as many as TransUnion and as Experian, with Experian probably having the most coverage. Now, some other notes. Citibank have reported regular double pulls, but this has not been applied to everyone. When this happens, be prepared for any combo. It can be Equifax and TransUnion. It could also be Equifax and Experian, or Experian and TransUnion. Now, this seems to vary quite a bit. I've done, I think, one Citibank application for a business credit card, and it was a TransUnion pull, I believe. But then I was seeing other people were also getting Equifax, so I couldn't really confirm which one it was. It seems to vary by state. Chase Bank. Some users have reported that double pulls are consistent, but some have also reported only a single pull for all new accounts. My experience, I've done credit line increases. It's been soft or it's been automatic, so I did not see an actual hard pull, but I have heard of people actually saying that they did get hard pulls, so that's something that you want to consider. I've also only gotten a pull from Experian. However, this has only been business credit cards. This entire list has to really do with personal credit cards. So expect a double pull from Equifax and Experian. That seems to be a preferred combo if you do get a double pull based on approval threads. But if you get pre-qualified via Credit Journey, TransUnion seems to be the primary reporting agency pulled, and it gets paired with Equifax and Experian. Now, TransUnion seems to be the least preferred credit reporting agency for Chase when Credit Journey is not involved. So just keep that in mind. Community Bank. This bank has two core types of credit cards. They have majors versus minors. Majors will be viewed as co-branded cards that offer a Visa, MasterCard option. When applying for one of those, Experian is the go-to. That just seems to be the one that they like. For store cards that do not have the Visa, MasterCard option, Equifax is the go-to. Now, Navy Federal Credit Union uses your TransUnion 9. That is the normal hard pull for most accounts, and it's basically like exclusively that. Now, when you call and you actually request a credit line increase, I have seen your Equifax FICO 9 being pulled. These are from reports. You can bypass this by only going to the app and requesting a credit line increase. Then it's a soft pull. It's not hard. But again, that's only when you call, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. There's also been on these approval threads that showcase that Navy Federal has been transitioning from the Equifax 9 to TransUnion 9 for the credit line increases. Again, a lot of this information is not always consistent, but it's just things that I wanted to mention. If a hard pull is required, it could be a 60 TransUnion 9, a 40 Equifax 9 ratio. So more than half the time it'll be your TransUnion. But once again, you should just do it through the app. You won't have to worry about that whatsoever. Synchrony Bank has historically pulled TransUnion exclusively, but starting in 2019, there were some reports that they pulled Experian, and one of these I can confirm. So the Verizon credit card, they actually have a business credit card too. The Verizon credit card has shown zero consistency with the credit reporting agencies that they pull. Some people have reported a single pull, some have reported a double pull, a triple pull. And when they pull a single or a double, that does not seem to be a primary or preferred credit bureau. It just seems to be random. My recommendation for this, since historically they exclusively pull TransUnion, I would just go ahead and do a freeze on everything but TransUnion. See if they do a single pull if you were trying to get this particular card. And then if they pull Experian instead, then you can go back, lock your TransUnion, unfreeze Experian, and then run the application. And then Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo seems to be Experian. Experian tends to be the go-to reporting agency for this bank. Some customers have reported being double pulled when they're new to Wells Fargo. So worst case, I would say expect a double pull. But for the most part, again, I would just lock two of them, and then just keep the one that you think is primary in most instances if you're going to be using this list. All right, so hopefully this is a good resource. I will continue to update this as time goes on. If you download it from my website, then when I do update it, you'll get an email with the latest updated version every time that I do it. All right, so just keep that in mind and be on the lookout for that. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is just bring you to the website to show you where to download this. All right, so we are on www.successwithstevensmith.com. If you scroll, this is a carousel. From my carousels, the add to cart button will always be on the bottom. Scroll all the way over and you will see the credit card hard pull master guide. You have to click this option from here to add to cart. If you click on it like this, there is no add to cart option. So you'll want to go home and then you'll want to scroll over and you'll want to click on add to cart. Once you add to cart, then you can click checkout. It's going to ask you for your information. Since again, it's $0, it'll just complete the order. It's free, and then you'll download it and you'll have that. Make sure that you add your email to that, please, or even if it's just a junk email that you want to check every once in a while, add it to there. And that way I'll be able to send you the updated version as time goes on, and I update this so that way you have the latest and up-to-date information. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. Hopefully this will be a resource that will definitely help a lot of people. If you have any questions or you want to add any additional information, then you can leave it in the comments. Maybe you have, you know, some insight to hard pulls that you have gotten. And I always take this information into consideration. I try to make sure that I do some research to combine it all in the one place, so that, you know, it can be very, very easy for everyone to have access to this. So thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.